Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself standing in front of the fridge, not because you're starving, but just because? You're not physically hungry, but something inside says, grab a snack. That right there is what I call false hunger, and understanding it is a game changer. In this video, we're going to talk about something that trips people up every single day in their weight loss journey. Why do you feel hungry when your body isn't actually asking for food? This isn't just about willpower. It's about learning the difference between true physical need and a psychological signal. And once you understand what is really going on, you have the power to change it. Let's break this down. False hunger is when your brain is telling you to eat, but your body doesn't actually need the food. And this can show up as a craving, a habit, or maybe just a sudden urge to grab something. Usually something sweet, salty, or high in carbs. But here's the truth. False hunger isn't about fuel. It's about emotion, routine, or stimulation. Now, people will usually think hunger is about the need to eat. But did you know that the world record for not eating is 382 days? And you heard that right. 382 days. This was a man who decided he no longer wanted to be obese and stopped eating. He was supervised during this process and took multivitamins and minerals, but he did not eat. And because he didn't rely on the calories from food, he relied on calories from the fat burning on his body. He dropped, in just over a year, 270 pounds. He didn't starve. He just needed to use up his excess energy, which was stored as fat. Now, I'm not recommending this path, but what I wanted to demonstrate from this example is how this individual overcame hunger to accomplish his goal. Remember, he didn't starve. He was getting his nutrients from supplementation, and the calories he got for the energy was just from his fat. Now, before we go much further, I wanted to talk about two hormones for a second. And these are two major players when it comes to hunger and feeling full. Now, there's a lot of people who will talk about hormones when we're talking about weight loss. Now, these are two of them. Okay, so pay attention. Ghrelin is your go-to food hormone or go-get food hormone, right? It's the thing that makes you want to get up and go get something to eat. It rises when your stomach is empty and tells your brain, time to eat. Leptin is the opposite. It's your I'm full, we're good hormone. It tells your brain to stop eating. But here's the catch of that. If you've been overweight for a while, your leptin signaling can actually get a little bit dull. Your brain just stops listening to it. And ghrelin can actually surge when you try to lose weight because it's making you feel hungrier than you actually are. Because if you establish a habit of overeating a lot, then when you stop that, then that signal just amplifies. And that's why weight loss can feel like an uphill battle, not just mentally, but chemically. So then let's talk about the weight loss drugs. So you have some medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and these are GLP-1 agonists, that's what they're called. And these artificially alter these hormones and mimic fullness. They turn down the hunger drive, right? Just like a volume control, which can help people eat less and feel more in control. But here's what I want you to hear loud and clear. The drug is not a magic solution. It mimics what your body should be doing naturally. And in time, your body will not continue to listen to these changes. In fact, some people who I have seen on these drugs are still eating junky food, and in fact, more so. And once the effect of the drug starts to change, because your body can get used to these things and then again, alter its levels. If you rely on the drug only and don't retrain your habits, your brain and your body will default back when the medication stops, so you can gain all that weight back. And that's actually been proven. So yes, weight loss drugs can help lower false hunger in the short term, but they don't teach you how to listen, how to pause, and how to choose differently. That's your job, and it really is worth doing. Okay, so let's move on to a different section. Why do we feel hunger? And there's really several reasons why we feel this way. Number one is emotional triggers, which can be stress, boredom, loneliness, and we often eat to escape a feeling, not because we're hungry. Food becomes kind of like a numbing agent not nourishment. Another thing is dopamine cravings. So your brain remembers that cookie you had last night. Remember that cookie? Or maybe you had a Slurpee on the weekend with your kids. It remembers the quick hit of pleasure it gave you. So it then sends out a little signal, hey, you know what? Let's do that again. It's not hunger. It's just a neurochemical request for stimulation. Another thing is habitual cues. So you ever find yourself eating just because it's a certain time of day? Or always grabbing a snack when you watch TV? These are habits. They're not hunger signals. It's just you do what you always do. You do what you're used to do, right? And that's all it is. Another thing can actually be blood sugar fluctuations. Eating too many refined carbs or skipping meals can cause your blood sugar to crash. Now your brain panics and says, get me sugar right now. It's a chemical reaction, but not a true hunger signal, but it feels urgent. So the way you control that is that you eat the right foods so that these signals don't go up and down like a roller coaster. Now let me share with you a little bit of a metaphor of what we're talking about. Think of your body like a car. True hunger is like your gas light coming on. You're running low on fuel and your body needs to recharge. False hunger is like someone reaching over and turning on the gas light even though your tank is still half full. Your brain is just reaching to a signal or an emotion, a memory, or a craving, not an actual energy need. If you fill your tank every time the fake light comes on, you're going to overflow the system. And that's where the weight gain starts. So then you may be asking yourself, how do we identify true versus false hunger? How do you know it's real? Well, ask yourself these questions to start. Would I eat something plain and boring, like chicken and broccoli, if you're really hungry? If the answer is no, then it's probably just a craving, and it's not really hunger. Maybe ask yourself, did I eat within the last 2 to 3 hours? Your body doesn't typically need food every hour. Maybe ask yourself, what emotion am I feeling right now? Am I stressed? Am I anxious? Am I bored? Any one of these things can cover up the real hunger feeling. So what you can do is you can actually give yourself 10 minutes, drink some water, go for a short walk. And if you're still hungry after that, then you can eat something balanced. But more often than not, that craving will pass. You can also differentiate between false hunger and being hungry to accomplish your goals. In all this, I'm not saying that if you are overweight, hunger isn't real. All I'm saying is that if you want to accomplish the specific goal of losing weight, and you know you have weight to give, then you just need to balance out these feelings of hunger, right? Remember, you're not starving. You just need to control and understand these feelings so that they don't override the entire system. In fact, going to bed actually a little hungry is good. Most people don't like that. Most people don't like going to bed unless they have a bit more of a full stomach. But if you can actually go to bed a little bit hungry, then that means you're burning fat even more so, especially if you have a good 7-8 hours sleep. So going to bed hungry actually can help you quite a bit. So how do we beat this false hunger feeling? Well, you want to stay ahead of the game. So you want to eat meals with protein, fiber, healthy fats. That trio keeps you full and helps regulate the blood sugar. When you have just carbohydrates, then the blood sugar will go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, and it'll go down. And that'll make you feel the way you do. So when you have that nice balance of protein, fats, and some complex carbohydrates, then you just feel nice and steady. When your nervous system is calm, you also make better food decisions. So that's what I'm saying, meditation, relaxing, focusing on things that are your purpose, not just focusing on things that stimulate, like watching TV or getting excited about a football game. Another strategy is getting good night's sleep, 7 to 9 hours. When your nervous system is calm, you make better food decisions. Another thing you can do is rewire the habit loops. Start noticing the patterns. So if you are always snacking at 8 p.m. watching TV, maybe swap the snack for some tea. Maybe, heaven forbid, you drink some Diet Cola or something like that, something that has no calories but will fulfill the sweet tooth. You don't have to deprive yourself of things that you like. You just need to replace it with something else and then eventually change those habits. You also don't want to demonize cravings. They're not the enemy. They're just signals. Learn to decode them instead of obeying them automatically. So when you get these cravings, you just have to stop and think, okay, why am I feeling this way? Do I need to eat? Do I need to do something else? Do I need to go for a walk? Right? If you stop and pause and just think about why you're doing what you're doing, you can gain that greater control. You don't have to live at the mercy of every craving. False hunger is real, but it's not permanent. And it's not in control unless you let it be in control. So the more you learn about these signals, the more empowered you become. Where people fail is when they don't learn and process what is going on. Knowledge is power. So now that you have just learned why these feelings occur, you can act and not be acted upon. I know you can do it and take control. We'll see you in the next video.